students, so today our topic is glycolysis. Okay, glycolysis is nothing but the breakdown of the glucose or metabolism of glucose. So whatever you take on the food, so that food containing polysaccharide, then polysaccharide was digested in the stomach, not stomach, in the oral cavity with the help of the salivary amylase, and as well as it was digested in the small intestine due to presence of the pancreatic amylase. So this amylase enzyme, it can convert polysaccharide into monosaccharides like glucose. So then the glucose, it can enter in our body towards the liver. Okay, so in the blood. Okay, so that glucose from the blood, it can enter in the various cells. Okay, normal cells as well as liver cells, muscle cells, many organ cells. So each and every organ, so they are made up of cells, and each cells, so they are required the ATP. Okay, so ATP, it is the energy. So that energy is required for regulations of the metabolic activity in the cells. So in the cells, so various metabolic activities occurs regarding synthesis of proteins or metabolism of proteins or synthesis of enzymes, hormones, certain substances. So they are required for the growth of the body or multiplication purpose. So they require the duplications of organs. So cells are multiplied. So as the cells are multiplied within 24 hours, then only the size of organ is increases. So then only we can develop. As the number of cells multiplied will be the more. So the all are, so they require the ATP. So growth of our body, so that is mainly depending upon the ATP or energy. If you are having the good source for energy in your body, then you are the healthy. Okay, our health, our fitness, it was mainly depending upon the source of energy. But our body regularly, it can got the ATP from the glucose only. So that glucose enter in the various cells through various transporters or channels, then that can subjected to the metabolisms, then the glucose, it can produce the ATP. So that ATP was helpful for to nourish the body or to nourish the cell, and the cells utilize the ATP and involved in the regular biochemical reaction. So that's why ATP is important, and productions of ATP, the metabolism of glucose is needed. So the metabolism of glucose is known as a glycolysis. So glycolysis, it is one of the biochemical process, it occurs in our body, so where the glucose can be metabolized into pyruvate or hydrogen ion and as well as water. Okay, so one molecule of glucose, it was converted into two molecule of pyruvate, then two molecule of hydrogen ion and the two molecule of water. Okay, so that is the process where the glucose can subjected to metabolism and involved in the formations of pyruvate, and pyruvate is the energy rich molecule. It is helpful for the productions of the day. So during the glycolysis, the ATP will be produced, so that ATP, it is helpful for to nourish the body. Okay, first regarding the introduction regarding the glycolysis. So dear students, so glycolysis is the process by which one molecule of glucose is converted into two molecule of pyruvate, okay, in the presence of oxygen. If the glycolysis process is run in the presence of oxygen, means it can produce the pyruvate. Okay, if the oxygen is less, okay, if the deficiency, okay, then also we can got the ATP, then also the glycolysis can be run by anaerobics. Okay, so maximum muscles, so they having the lack of oxygen, and muscles are only are there where the maximum the glycolysis occurs by anaerobically, because the muscle do not have any, there is a less content of the oxygen. It means even in the less content of oxygen, the glycolysis can run, or we can got the ATP by metabolism of the glucose, that was the glycolysis. So if in the presence of oxygen, the metabolism of glucose occurs means it can produce the pyruvate. Okay, it do not have any harmful reactions or harmful effect. But if in the absence of oxygen, if the glucose was metabolized means, so that was produces the lactic acid or lactate. Okay, so lactate, it was processed by glycolysis or metabolism of glucose in the absence of anaerobic or in the absence of oxygen. So that process was known as anaerobic glycolysis. So where that lactate was processed, so that lactate was responsible for to decrease the pH of our blood or body or fluid. Okay, our pH of blood is 7.4 due to productions of more lactate in the muscle that can enter in the blood. Due to that, the pH of blood is decreases. Okay, that near to the acidic. Okay, that condition was known as the lactoacidosis. Due to that, we are suffering from the irritations or irrational behavior or malfunctions of the organ. Permanently the some organs will be failed due to acidosis, or due to acidosis the RBC was rupture also, that was known as the hemolysis. So that's why, so there is need to avoid the more productions of lactate, to avoid the lactate acidosis. So that's why, so those are lazy, so those are working sitting in a compact room in inside the AC, definitely those people, they are suffering from the acidity, acidosis, as well as various metabolic disease like diabetes mellitus, cancers, or many other diseases are there. Because so they are work in the compact rooms, so they are housewives, or they are particular sitting in the particular places. So due to that, they will be having the lack of activity, and they will be also having the lack of the oxygen. So that's why, so I suggest to you, so during the COVID, you should be have some walk in the ground or in the roof of your home. Okay, because of the safety, you don't go for outside the home unnecessarily. Okay, in the roof of your home, or you go to your agriculture or your field, so where also you can walk, you can got the pure oxygen and avoid the lactic acidosis. Okay, otherwise, so now due to this quarantine, so many people, so they are suffering from the irrational behavior. Many people, their blood pressure was increases, or many people, they are suffering from the diabetes, hypertension, many other conditions are there. There is only by sitting in the particular places, so then the utilization, entry of oxygen was decreases in the compact room. So that was causes, that was responsible for the anaerobic glycolysis. Then it can produce the lactate. Due to lactate, it can produce the lactate acidosis, so where the organs was failed. So that's why my suggestion is, always you enhance the oxygen content in our body through yoga, pranayam. Many meditations are there, so they are enhance the oxygen content in our body, so that can you go through. Okay, or you can suggest your parent, okay, in the morning or in the evening, so they go for walk, or so they can go for the meditation. So meditation is one of the best technique, they can enhance the oxygen content in your body. So due to that, so they are more energetics, they do not suffer from fatigue. You can see, so those are doing the meditations by Ravi Shankarji or many others. Okay, so they are always energetics, always fresh from morning to evening, because so there is no lactate is produced, and lactate is caused lactose acidosis. Due to acidosis, the fatigue is occurs, or malfunctions of muscles occurs. Due to that, they are suffering from the fatigue. So that's why you always enhance the, that is the oxygen level, oxygen content in your body, then you can avoid the lactate acidosis. Okay, so through a glycolysis, so it can produces the high energy molecules like ATP and as well as NADH. So during the glycolysis process, it was responsible for the productions of the high energy biomolecules like ATP. ATP is considered as high energy molecules, and as well as it was responsible for the productions of the NADH. So this is one of the natural antioxidant, and also it can responsible for to give the ATP or energy. Okay, so pyruvate molecule further, so that was responsible for whatever the pyruvate they are formed during the glycolysis. So that pyruvate molecule was responsible for the formations of acetyl CoA, and acetyl CoA is the precursor or it is required for TCA cycle. So acetyl CoA further from the pyruvate it can enter in the TCA cycle, where also it can produces around 34 ATP. Okay, so like that, the glycolysis can produce the more ATP when it can convert into pyruvate into acetyl CoA, then acetyl CoA and can enter in the TC cycle where it can produces the minimum 34 ATPs molecules. So that was rich. That's why glucose is the highly energetic molecule that was responsible for the productions of the energy. Okay, so the glycolysis it mainly consists of 10 steps. Are the glycolysis pathway it was occurs in the step 10 steps, and among 10 steps there are 3 steps are irreversible. That is the first step 1, step 3 and step 10. Once the product is formed means any condition that cannot be reversed, but remaining reactions, so they are the reversible steps. So it means the glycolysis it mainly consists of the 10 steps. Among the 10 steps, the glycolysis was completed. The glucose can convert into pyruvate. Okay, by following the 10 steps. Among those 10 steps, the first, third, and 10th steps, so they are the irreversible. So once the product was formed means, so there is no reverse. But in other reaction, so there may be possibles of the reversible in the steps, but in the steps 1, 3 and 10, so there is no. Okay, so glycolysis it is also run, okay, in low oxygen concentrations, because maximum biochemical reaction, so the reaction rate was mainly depending upon the content of oxygen in your body. But this glycolysis it was also occurs even in the deficiency of the oxygen or lack of the oxygen or low concentrations of the oxygen in our body. So by following a anaerobic reaction, so also it can produces the ATP. So that's why the glycolysis is considered as a it can produces the ATP even in the low concentrations of the oxygen in our body or even the hypoxia. Okay, in hypoxia, so when you are having the deficiency of oxygen, then also you can got the ATP. Okay, then also you can got the ATP or you can got the energy, because the glycolysis is also run under the anaerobic conditions or hypoxic conditions. So this is the introduction so regarding the glycolysis. So glycolysis is nothing but the breakdown of glucose into pyruvate or hydrogen and as well as the two molecule of the water, and it is the responsible for the productions of the high energy molecules like ATP and as well as the NADH. So next one, so regarding the entry of glucose, so how the glucose can enter in our body. Okay, so there are the mainly 3 points are there, or entry points are there, through which only the glucose can enter inside the cell. Other route, so that is not allowed. Only these are 3 routes or 3 sources from which our cell it can got the glucose for glycolysis for productions of the ATP. First one is the dietary source or dietary glucose. So whatever you eat, so that containing starch or polysaccharide, it was metabolized in the oral cavity as well as in the small intestine due to presence of the amylase enzyme. Then so that digested polysaccharide into monosaccharide or into glucose. So then the glucose can enter into the our bloodstream through by passing through a gastrointestinal tract. Then it can enter in the glycolysis pathway. It is the first source through which we can got the glucose for productions of the ATP through a dietary source. If you are under the hunger strike, okay, you are demanding your parent regarding you should be give me Apple phones, because my all classmates, so they can take the Apple phone, and already you can promise to me. So when you are pass good marks with the in the NEET, then you can offer to the that is the Apple phone, but Apple mobiles. But your parents are not giving to you. But on that time, what you are doing? So you are going for the hunger strike. You can avoiding the food. Still, if you avoiding the food means, then also you can survive, because we also got the other source of ATP or other source of glucose we have in our body apart from the dietary glucose. So those are, that is the glycogenolysis. So when you taken the excess of glucose from the dietary source, so excess of glucose in the liver or in the adipose tissues, that was stored in the form of the glycogen. Okay, so excess of glucose in your body, it can stored in the liver or in the adipose tissues as a glycogen, and glycogen is known as a FD for carbohydrates. Okay, if your family member anyone, if they having the diabetes mellitus means, where you want to control so their sugar level means, first you can you can break down their FD. Okay, you suggest to them involved in the workout that can decrease the FD of the glucose or glycogen, then only so their sugar level in the blood will be the normal. If you are restricted to intake of sugar means, then also there is no control on the sugar, because so they having the FD in their body. Okay, that is the glycogen. So here the glycogen is also the source of glucose. So when the they are fasting, so when the glucose cannot enter through the dietary sources due to glycogenolysis, that is nothing but breakdown of glycogen into glucose, okay, in the liver as well as in the adipose tissues, then that glucose can enter in the glycolysis pathway. So other source, so regarding the glucose is other monosaccharides like galactose and fructose. So they are also entering the glycolysis pathway at various level. Then they are involved in the formations of the ATP, or it can use the alternative to the glucose or converted into the glucose. So that's why. So these are the three main sources for regarding the entry of the glucose in our body. If these also over, still the person was survive, because so were the fat, were the protein, so they are counted into glucose. So that was known as the gluconeogenesis or neoglucogenesis. That is the formations of glucose from non-carbohydrate source. So these are the main three, and that gluconeogenesis is also one of the responsible for to supply the glucose to the our body for the productions of ATP. So like that, so there is a four sources through which the glucose can be enter in our body. If any abnormalities, then our blood sugar should be the uncontrolled, it can be elevated. Okay, so now the glucose can enter in our blood. So from the blood, it can enter into the cell. So easily the glucose cannot be entered into the cells. Okay, it can, because it is a water soluble molecule, and our plasma membrane, it do not allow the water soluble or polar substances, but still the glucose can enter with the help of the transporters. And here transporter is nothing but the integral protein or peripheral protein or proteins of the plasma membranes. So they act as the transporters, and those transporters, so they can allow the entry of the glucose inside the cell, and those are known as the glucose transporters. Okay, those are known as the glucose transporters. So these are the various glucose transporters are there through which the glucose can enter from blood into the intracellular, or the glucose can enter from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid with the help of the various transporter, and those are known as the GLUT transporters or glucose transporter. So these glucose transporters are nothing but, so they are made up of the protein, so that was present in the plasma membranes of each and every cell. So they are made up of protein, or they are consist of integral protein, peripheral protein. So these peripheral integral proteins sometimes, so they acts as the carrier proteins or transporters. Okay, so then, so they can helpful for to allow the entry of glucose from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. And here, so those transporters, so those are responsible for the transport of glucose from extracellular fluid into intracellular fluid, and those are known as the GLUT. So in our body, there are mainly three glucose transporters are present. So that is a GLUT1, then GLUT2, GLUT4. So these are the transporters. Okay, so they are helpful for to allow the entry of glucose inside the cell from extracellular fluid entry or from blood into the cell. Okay, so first one, GLUT1, it is known as the low kinetic energy and it is highly active. Okay, so this GLUT1, it can present in the all type of cell. Okay, all type of cells. So they will be having the GLUT1, and GLUT1, it can allow the entry of the glucose inside the cells. Okay, so this GLUT1, it is present in the all type of cell. It is a having the high kinetic energy, no, sorry, low kinetic energy and highly active. Okay, so it is helpful for to uptake the glucose from the blood and enter into the your inside cell, so where the glycolysis can be occurs. Okay, so next one is the GLUT2. It is highly concentration dependent and it will be having the high kinetic energy. So this GLUT2, it was mainly present in the liver, and also it was mainly present in the pancreatic isolates. So pancreas, it having the one part, so that was known as the pancreatic isolates. So that pancreatic isolates, it can consist of the three types of cells: alpha, beta and delta. Alpha, responsible for secretions of glucagon, and glucagon, it can release from the alpha cells of pancreas when the sugar level in the blood is decreases. And beta cell, it was responsible for release of insulin. So from the beta cells, insulin is released so when the glucose level is high in the blood. And delta, it can control the both alpha and beta by secretions of the certain peptides. Okay, so here, so in the beta cells or the pancreatic isolate cells, so they will be having the GLUT2 receptors transporters. Okay, so when sugar level is increases, through which the glucose can enter inside the beta cells through following a GLUT2. So then glucose enter in the beta cells, then it can produce the depolarizations. Due to entry of glucose, certain sodium molecule is also entered. So due to that, the kinetic energy was altered. Depolarization occurs. So due to that depolarization, the insulin can be released from the beta cells. It means the insulin release is also depending upon the glucose level in our blood. So as the glucose level increases, so that blood can vegetate to the pancreas. From the pancreas, the same high glucose level blood can vegetate to the beta cells, and in the beta cell, so that can enter inside the beta cell. It can through a GLUT2, and where it can metabolize, it can produce the ATP. So due to that ATP, it was alter the membrane permeability, and as well as it can cause the entry of accumulation of sodium. So that sodium can accumulated, cause a depolarization. Due to depolarization, the calcium was released. So that calcium was responsible for release of insulin from the beta cells. Okay, so then in the liver, so same liver cell is also having the GLUT2 receptor. So here, so in the liver, the glucose can enter inside liver cell through a GLUT2 and it can convert into glycogens. So it means the GLUT2 receptor was responsible for release of insulin and as well as to decrease the glucose level by enhancing the synthesis of the glycogen in the liver. That is the importance of the GLUT2. So next one, that is the GLUT4. So this GLUT4, it is an insulin dependent transporter. So when insulin can bind on the GLUT4 receptor, then only it can allow the entry of glucose inside the cell. Otherwise, it cannot allow. If the insulin was fail to bind on GLUT4 or it is failed to release, means the glucose cannot enter inside the cell. Regarding, because so this GLUT4, it is mainly found in the muscles, adipose tissues and heart. Muscle and adipose tissues, so they are the main organs or cells. Okay, so they are highly involved in the regulations or metabolism of the glucose. An entry of the glucose inside the muscle and adipose tissue cell, that was depending upon the opening of GLUT4 for glucose. And opening or functions of GLUT4 receptors is mainly depending upon the insulin. If insulin releases, means then only GLUT4 receptor can allow the entry of glucose inside the cells of muscles, adipose and heart. Okay, if any abnormalities, then glucose cannot be enter, then the blood sugar level is increases. So that was known as the metabolic disorder or diabetes mellitus. Okay, so any abnormality. So these are the four receptors. So through which the glucose, three transporter through which the glucose can enter inside cell and its level was decreases. Okay, you should be remember in the future. So it is helpful for to choose the drug, because some drugs, so they can activate the GLUT4 and some they activate the GLUT2, some they activate the GLUT1. Okay, or they act through the GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT4. Then according to that, they was helpful for to control the sugar level. Okay, so here, so these are the various receptor, okay, through which glucose can enter, or transporter through which the glucose can enter, then it can decrease the glucose. If any malfunctions of this transporter, then we are suffering from the diabetes mellitus. Okay, next one. So regarding the phases of glycolysis, so dear students, the glycolysis mainly divided into two phases. The first phase is energy investment phase. So here this phase or these reactions, those are comes under the energy investment phase, so they require the ATP. So that's what is known as the energy investment phase. So regarding step 1 to 5, okay, where glucose can convert into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So these steps are known as the energy investment phase. They require the two molecule of ATP instead of production, so they utilize the ATP, then only they convert glucose into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So that's why, so these five steps of the glycolysis was known as the energy investment phase. Okay, so next one is the second phase, that is known as the energy payout phase or energy production phase. So remaining steps, that is the step 5 to 10, so they are produces the 4 molecule of ATP and 2 molecule of NADH. NADH is also the energy molecules. Okay, so they are produces 4 molecule ATP and 2 molecule of the NADH. So that's why, so the steps 5 to 10 or 6 to 10, so these are where the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate can convert to pyruvate, and those steps are known as the energy payout phase. So here the energy can be produced, but in the first 5 the energy can be utilizes. Okay, the energy will be required for metabolism of the glucose. So next one we learn one by one regarding the steps. So first steps, it is known as the hexokinase. It is the first step, comes under the energy investment phase. So it is step 1 named as the hexokinase. So here the hexokinase is an enzyme that is only found in the mitochondria. Okay, so that hexokinase is released into cytoplasma from the mitochondria under the presence of the oxygen only. Okay, the mitochondrial function is mainly depending upon the oxygen. You having the good oxygen, so then only the glucose, that the hexokinase is released in the cytoplasma. Then glucose can enter into the cytoplasma through a GLUT1 or GLUT2 or GLUT4 transporter. Then, so this enzyme is released from the mitochondria, and this enzyme can convert glucose into glucose 6 phosphate. So here it can require the ATP. Okay, so this ATP, it can transport one phosphate group to the glucose. Okay, ATP, it converted into ADP, then it can transport the phosphate group to the glucose. So then the glucose is become the glucose 6 phosphate in the presence of hexokinase enzyme, and as well as the cofactor, that is the magnesium. So dear students, here magnesium, it can neutralize the negative energy, okay, negative environment. It can seal the negative environment due to phosphorylations of ATP. Certain negative energy or negative environment develops, so that can sealed by the Mg. So due to magnesium, these reactions can be accelerated, and here the magnesium, it is used as a cofactor, and enzyme hexokinase, it can convert glucose into glucose 6 phosphate, where the ATP, it can transfer one phosphate group to the glucose, and this steps is a irreversible step. Once it converted to glucose 6 phosphate means, so there is no reverse. So like that, one hydrogen molecule is also formed in the step 1. So next one is the step 2, that is known as the that is phosphoglucose isomerase. So this is an enzyme, that is the phosphoglucose isomerase. It is responsible for the formations of the isomers from the glucose. So here the glucose 6 phosphate is isomerized or isomered into a or converted into a fructose 6 phosphate in the presence of the enzyme phosphoglucose isomerase. So this enzyme, it can convert, that is the glucose 6 phosphate, into its isomer, that is the fructose 6 phosphate. Okay, so next one, step 3, it is known as the phosphofructokinase. It is also irreversible step. So the enzyme phosphofructokinase, it can convert fructose 6 phosphate into fructose 1,6, that is the bisphosphate. Okay, so here also the ATP, it can transport the one phosphate group to the fructose 6 phosphate. Then the fructose 6 phosphates become the fructose 1,6 phosphate, that is diphosphate or biphosphate. Okay, it is also required the magnesium as a, it can seal the negative environment or a negative energy. So dear students, so this step is a irreversible, and this step in the glycolysis is the most important steps. Okay, so this phosphofructokinase, it can control the glycolysis rate. Okay, so this enzyme having the capability to speed the reactions or to slow down the reactions. So this enzyme, its activity mainly depending upon the plasma glucose level. If your sugar level in the blood is increases, so then so this enzyme read out and it can accelerate the, or it can speed out the glycolysis. If the glucose level in the blood is less, the same enzyme, it can slow down the glycolysis, and glycolysis is the continuation process. Okay, it can running, but it can be controlled, whether speed up or speed flow according to the plasma concentration of glucose by this enzyme. So that's why the step 3 is the most important steps to control on the glycolysis, and this enzyme activity was inhibited by glucagon. So due to that, the sugar level is increases, and insulin, it can activate this enzyme. So due to that, the insulin was responsible to decrease the sugar level rapidly. Okay, if you made any drug, if that drug, if it activate the phosphofructokinase mean, so that drug is acts as a insulin. It is equivalent to the insulin. So like this type was helpful for also discover of the new molecule or new drug. But this enzyme here, it can convert fructose 6 phosphate into fructose 1,6 phosphate, where the ATP can transfer one phosphate group in the presence of the magnesium as a cofactor. So next step, that was known as the aldolase. So it is the another enzyme. So this enzyme was responsible for to convert fructose 1,6 phosphate into 3 carbon isomers or sugars. So it can convert two sugars. So that two sugars is having only 3 carbon. So that can converted from the fructose 1,6 biphosphate, that is the role of the enzyme aldolase, and these sugars are dihydroxyacetone, that is DHAP, then glyceride 3 phosphate, that is the gap. And dear students, among these two molecules, only one molecule, that is the glycerol 3 phosphate, can enter in the further steps of the glycolysis. But this DHAP, it cannot enter in the further steps. But it can interconvert, that is the DHAP into GAP, that is glyceride 3 phosphate. But the enzyme activity is it can convert fructose 1,6 phosphate into two sugars, and those two sugars it consists of only 3 carbon atom, and those sugars are the that is the dihydroxy acetone phosphate and glyceride 3 phosphate. Okay, and from here only one sugar, that is the glyceride 3 phosphate, enter in the further glycolysis, and remaining sugar it can stay here only, or it can interconverted into a that is the glyceride 3 phosphate in the next step. Then step 5, that is known as the triose phosphate isomerase. So in the presence of, so this isomerase enzyme, so here, so this dihydroxyacetone phosphate can isomered or converted into glyceride 3 phosphate. So like that only the glyceride 3 phosphate can enter in the next steps. So like that, so these 5 steps, so they are energy investment phase of the glycolysis. Once, so this glyceride 3 phosphate enter in the next step, means from which the energy payout steps can be started, or energy production steps started.